Once upon a time, there lived a single mother called Mrs. Bassey and a daughter called Dorcas. Mrs. Bassey was an hardworking woman who lost her husband few years ago, leaving her to care for Dorcas on her own. Despite her busy schedule, Mrs. Bassey made sure that Dorcas was well taken care of and received the best education. One day, Mrs. Bassey gave Dorcas her school fees to pay when she gets to school because she was too busy to go and pay the money herself. So she gave the responsibility to Dorcas. "Make sure you keep this money safe and don't lose it," she told Dorcas in a serious tone. Dorcas nodded, understanding her mother's serious tone. She placed the money in her bag and left for school. On her way, she felt proud of herself that her mother could give her such important tasks. But as she got closer to school, she realized the money was no longer in her bag. She stopped and searched frantically every corner of the bag and even her pocket, but the money was nowhere to be found. Dorcas traced her steps back to see if she would find the lost money on the road, but she couldn't find it. Crying, she continued searching for it, but the money was long gone. So she went to school. She knew she was in deep trouble. When Dorcas got to school, a teacher asked her for her school fees. "I misplaced it on my way to school," she said, crying. Although the teacher pitied Dorcas, she had no choice but to send her home until the fees is paid. As Dorcas went home, her heart was filled with fear because she knew she had disappointed her mother and she couldn't imagine what her mother would do once she finds out what happened. As Dorcas walked home and lost in thought, she didn't notice anything on her way because her mind was on the lost money and the trouble awaiting her at home. But just before she got home, there was a woman selling roasted corn by the side of the road named Mrs. Akpan. Mrs. Akpan was known as a kind woman, and she's always smiling. Life had dealt her a huge blow as she lost her husband and her two sons on the same day due to an accident. So she had to work hard every day to support her two daughters and herself. That day, Mrs. Akpan noticed Dorcas as she walked by the road crying with her face swollen and red. Out of concern, she called her. "Little girl, why are you crying?" Dorcas stopped and looked at her. She didn't want to say anything, but Mrs. Akpan's soothing voice made her. "I lost the money my mother gave me for my school fees. I've searched for it everywhere, but I can't find it. And I know my mom will deal with me when I get home," Dorcas said, crying. Mrs. Akpan's heart ached for the little girl. She knew how important the school fees is and how painful it is to lose money that was earned through hard work and labor. She thought about the money she had made that day. Confused on what to do, she decided to help Dorcas. She pulled out some money from her purse and gave Dorcas everything in the purse. "Take this money, little girl, and go pay your school fees." Dorcas looked at her and the money. She couldn't believe that a stranger could help her with such huge amount of money. With shaking hands, she collected the money and thanked Mrs. Akpan. "Thank you so much, Ma. I don't know how I will ever repay you, but I know that I will surely pay you back in manifold ways." Mrs. Akpan smiled. "Don't bother about repaying. Just make sure you don't lose this one and face your studies." "I promise, Ma. I will face my studies and I won't lose this money," Dorcas said and went home. Dorcas forgot to tell her mother about Mrs. Akpan's help, but she never forgot the kind counselor who saved her from trouble. Life continued for Dorcas and her mother, Mrs. Bassey. She faced her studies, and Mrs. Bassey continued to work hard to provide for her daughter. And then one day, Mercy found the Bassey's family, as Mrs. Bassey won a major government contract that gave her millions of money, and their lives drastically changed for good. They moved from the neighborhood to a better and bigger apartment. Life seemed perfect and they were both happy. But deep down, Dorcas couldn't shake the feeling she was having. So one day, as she and her mother were driving through their old neighborhood, Dorcas suddenly remembered the incident about the missing school fees and the kind counselor who didn't know her from anywhere but helped her out of trouble. She felt guilty as she remembered that she never mentioned it to her mother. "Mommy, please can you stop the car for a moment? I really need to check on something." Mrs. Bassey was surprised, but she pulled over to see what her daughter was up to. But to Dorcas' dismay, she couldn't find Mrs. Ackman. So she asked a food vendor nearby if they knew where she was. "Ah, Mrs. Ackman, she hasn't been here for a while now, and nobody knows where she relocated to. But I heard things have been really tough for her and her daughters." Dorcas felt sad for not coming sooner. All the while, she was enjoying her mother's wealth. The kind woman was suffering with her children. Feeling sad, she went back to the car. "Hope everything is all right," Mrs. Bassey asked Dorcas. Taking a deep breath, she told her mother everything. "Mom, do you remember last year when you gave me my school fees to pay in school? I misplaced it and was sent home. I didn't know what to do, but on my way home, I met a counselor who asked me what happened, and Mommy, do you know what? She gave me the money which I used to pay my school fees. I'm sorry I didn't tell you because I was scared. She sells just right there, but now she's gone. I feel so terrible, Mom." Mrs. Bassey was surprised. "You shouldn't have hidden it. If you had told me earlier, we would have come to check her sooner, and I personally would have come to thank her." "I knew you would be disappointed in me. I am so sorry, Mom," Dorcas said. "You made a mistake, but I'm proud of you that you had it in mind to thank her. That's all that matters. We will look for her and help her. I'm sure she gave you all that she had that day, and I'll be forever grateful to her." They began asking around about Mrs. Ackman, but nobody knew where she had gone. As the days go by, they realized that finding Mrs. Ackman was tougher than they imagined. But Dorcas promised herself that she will continue searching until she finds Mrs. Ackman. Time passed, and Dorcas grew older. She excelled in school and decided to study medicine as a career. Her mother, Mrs. Bassey, was so proud of her that she supported her in every step she took. Due to her brilliance, Dorcas won a scholarship to study medicine abroad. During this period, Dorcas worked hard and learned as much as she could. But she never forgot about Mrs. Ackman, the kind counselor who had helped her when no one else did. She wondered what could have happened to her all these years. After graduation, Dorcas returned home, and with the help of her mom, she opened a new hospital as a way of giving back to the society. The hospital was well equipped, and Dorcas was so proud of herself. Meanwhile, Mrs. Ackman and her daughters had been living from hand to mouth since her husband and her children's death. Her husband's family had taken everything from her, leaving her with nothing. She and her daughters were living in an uncompleted building. Her daughters helped her cook food, gala and water, But the money earned was not enough to feed them. Their mother couldn't afford their school fees, so she had to drop them out of school, and then the struggle continued. One day, Priska, one of Mrs. Akpan's daughter, was involved in an accident as she was walking. She didn't see an oncoming car, and it hit her so hard that she threw her to the ground. Mabel, her other daughter, screamed and rushed to her, but Priska was unconscious. People gathered around as Mabel was crying beside her sister. Surprisingly, a kind stranger offered to take her to the hospital, and Mabel agreed as all she wanted was for her sister to be okay. But on getting to the hospital, they couldn't attend to Priska as her sister Mabel had no money to pay. She pleaded with the doctors and nurses that they should start treating her while she goes in search of the money, but they refused. She looked at her sister whose condition had worsened. At last, a doctor came to check on Priska, but it was too late. Priska had taken her last breath. Mabel sat on the floor and cried until her mother, Mrs. Akpan, arrived. She beheld her surrounding and wept as she had lost yet another child. Life became tougher for Mrs. Akpan and Mabel after Priska's death. They missed the joy and laughter Priska brought with her. Sooner, Mrs. Akpan became depressed. She felt so weak that she couldn't stand nor walk. Her daughter Mabel tried taking care of her, but could only do little. Some months later, Mrs. Akpan's condition grew worse as there was little food to eat and no medication. Mabel continued working but couldn't afford much. One cold evening, as she sat beside her mother, she realized if they continued this way, she might also lose her mother, who is her only surviving family. With the little money she had saved, she decided to take her mother to the hospital. She helped her to the hospital, and on getting there, she met a young doctor with her coat on, attending to a young boy. She approached her because she looked kind. As the doctor turned to look at them, she froze in her tracks as she recognized her mother. It was Dorcas. She recognized Mrs. Akpan immediately. "How can I help you, young lady? Do you need something?" she asked them. "Doctor, please help me. My mother is very sick, and we don't have enough money. Please, I don't want her to die," Mabel said, crying. Dorcas' heart ached as she heard what Mabel said. "Don't worry, I'll take care of everything. Don't bother about the money," Dorcas told her, and immediately, Dorcas ordered some nurses to Mrs. Akpan to be admitted. She personally made sure she was admitted properly. Although scared, Mabel was relieved that her mother was in safe hands. Dorcas stepped outside as Mrs. Akpan was admitted to speak with Mabel. "What's your name?" she asked her. "I am Mabel," she replied, cleaning her eyes. "Is your mother Mrs. Akpan?" Dorcas asked her. Nodding, Mabel said, "Yes, that's my mother. Do you know her?" she asked Dorcas. "Your mother once helped me a very long time ago, and I have searched everywhere for her, but couldn't find her. It won't be easy for you to find us because things have been so tough. Since we lost our father and brothers, and just recently I lost my elder sister. Things have been so tough for myself and my mother. I thank God that I can repay her for what she did for me years back," Dorcas said. "And I promise you that today marks the end of sadness in your life," she added. For the next few days, Dorcas was always checking on Mrs. Akpan, making sure she and Mabel eat well and are well taken care of. Mrs. Akpan began to recover, and Dorcas began to think about what she can do to help her and Mabel. But she was very sure that they won't be living in the uncompleted building anymore. One evening, while Mrs. Akpan was relaxing, Dorcas sat beside her with Mabel. "Mrs. Akpan, I don't know if you will like this idea, but I want you and Mabel to come and live with me and my mom. We have so many spare rooms in the house to cater for everybody." Mrs. Akpan looked at Dorcas with tears in her eyes. "God will bless you, my child. I don't know what else to say than thank you." "Ma, you don't need to thank me. God knew something like this will happen. That's why He made sure that you helped me those years ago. So who am I not to help when you did something without even knowing me?" Mabel, who had been beaming with a smile, finally said, "Thank you, Doctor. Thank you, Dr. Dorcas. You don't know what this means to my mother and I, and we will never take it for granted." Mabel and her mother were so excited when they moved into the Basse's house. It was like God has finally remembered them. They received a warm welcome from Mrs. Bassey, and they lived comfortably. They felt so safe and cared for. Dorcas and her mother made sure they had more than what they ever wanted. They enrolled Mabel in a very big and prestigious school, and since she was a brilliant child, it wasn't hard for her to settle in. Some years later, she graduated from secondary school with so many awards and prizes. After getting home, she told her mother, "Mom, I would like to study medicine, but to major in obstetrics and gynecology, so that I will focus on women and their mental health." "My child, that's a good one. I'm in total support. I always knew you are a shining light, and you will surely prosper." Mabel gained admission into the University of Nsukka to study medicine, and after so many years of study, she graduated. Dorcas, Mrs. Bassey, I don't know how to thank you for this great help you have rendered to me and my daughter, Mrs. Akpan said, "because this wouldn't have happened if Dorcas hasn't brought us home. Thank you so much. Now, I'm the mother of a graduate, and not just a graduate, but also an obstetrician and gynecologist. God, I thank you." Mrs. Bassey, enjoying the moment, said, "Let's just thank God for everything. We are just instruments in the hands of God." They continued the celebration, and some years later, Dorcas met the love of her life. They got married and lived happily ever after. The end. So please don't forget to leave a comment, like, and subscribe to my channel after watching this video to the end. Until we meet again in my next video, do stay tuned and stay blessed. Thank you.